Welcome. Today we will be critically analyzing a learning and teaching experience and issue in the form of a lesson plan. The controversial issue that this analysis will be based on is built on my experience with a student in my industrial timber class that has severe behavioral issues. This arises the topic of an equal education versus safety. Tom suffers with ADHD and has recently been suspended for his third time for behavioral issues. There has been a school staff meeting stating that Tom has violent traits and he is not allowed to be touching or holding any potential weapons, such as chairs, scissors, or pens, in the classroom. He is to sit in a controlled environment at all times and is on monitoring level systems. Despite Tom's behavior, he is eligible to participate in industrial technology subjects despite having a learning environment filled with hazardous and dangerous equipment. Now we must consider, is Tom entitled to choose the educational path he desires, or is it unfair for students to unknowingly be exposed to danger when entering industrial technology timber room with Tom? This lesson is situated in Term 4, Week 6. At this stage, students have currently finished all their practical assignments and are to work on a catapult project for the remainder of the year. The project is implemented to identify and use a range of hand and machine tools in different technological environments. This lesson will be based on introducing and teaching methods of correctly marking, drilling, and cutting for the catapult sections. Students learn to understand and calculate the correct distance and methods to measure and mark effectively, correctly use a saw in a safe manner and accurate procedure, and critically analyze the placement and the size of the desired holes. The lesson follows a cognitive approach, in particular the model of memory. By providing the students with stimulus or input, students become an active participant in learning and will receive, organize, and store the information within the activities. During the opening hook, seen as a practical demonstration, methodology and discussion questions are presented physically and verbally. Questioning enhances students' engagement and problem-solving skills in the activity. It is then followed by a solitary activity where students will repeat this process on their own. This activity aims to strengthen the students' knowledge and practical skills whilst also acting as a formative assessment for the teacher to assess the level of learning. The content input is provided in the hook of the lesson. It is then followed by a solitary activity to strengthen students' knowledge by using repetition and questioning. These strategies aim to rehearse the information until it reaches the long-term memory. According to Gardner's learning style diagram, this lesson is particularly beneficial for kinesthetic, auditory, and visual learners due to the several practical activity-based learning. As a student teacher, my teaching practices have been challenged and improved through the experiences with Tom's behavioral issues. The teaching standards that I have gained further knowledge on include 1. Know students and how they learn, 3. Plan for and implement effective teaching and learning, and 4. Create and maintain supportive and safe learning environments. Through observations, it's gathered that Tom's misbehavior happens when he is waiting for machines, distracted, or bored. When waiting, he tends to get temperamental, whilst boredom and distractions trigger impulsive misbehaviors such as hitting desks with hammers. The key for planning is to ensure that Tom is always on task. I've used a behaviorism approach as I implemented a positive punishment by allowing him to work with his friend but warning him if he misbehaves that he will be moved, in an attempt to eliminate his negative behavior. Tom is informed that if he is waiting in line for a machine or starts to get impatient, he is to cut joints out of scrap timber whilst his spot is being held in the line. In this instance, he is occupied with an activity or stimulus he enjoys whilst attempting to eliminate his impulsive behavior. To create and maintain a safe learning environment, the teacher must limit his tools, check in with him at least 5 times, always have extension work, keep close supervision, and remind him of the rules and expectations privately. Support is seen by modeling the project to give students an image of a reachable goal which will improve their self-efficacy. Scaffolding is seen through visual aids of the measurements and instructions to provide support for diverse learners. This practicum has improved my classroom management, given me experience dealing with challenging behavior, and extend my knowledge on learning theories to support my teaching practices. We will now get the perspectives on the issue from Jess and Brad. It's too high of a risk to be putting students that cannot control their behavior in the woodwork room. It's okay now that he's still young and small, but what happens when he outgrows me and is stronger than me? How will I be able to defuse the situation or stop him if he threatens or wants to hurt students or myself? I think that Tom needs to have only theory or content that limits his use of equipment. It's about planning proficiently to prevent dangerous behaviors from occurring. It's a law that each student is entitled to a fair education. If planning is done accordingly, then if an incident happens to occur, the supervising teacher has done all measures that is required to have a safe classroom and therefore not liable for the incident. I believe in safety over education. Teachers' control in the classroom is limited, therefore, it's unfair for students to be unknowingly in harm. Imagine the perspective of parents in this situation. All teachers can do is to plan proficiently for a safe classroom in this instance.